Unfortunately, both of them passed away this year, leaving this enclosure empty. Now you'll see it's practically empty this morning. We've cleaned this pool out and it's refilling from our tank on the hill. Now these 4 grey seals would normally be housed over in our convalescent pool, but we've brought all 4 of them along. Now down on the side is a girl called Snoopy, and you'll see her out of the pool for most of today. Snoopy came to us from Whitsunday Wildlife Park when her long-term pool partner passed away, and they were really worried she'd be lonely, so they asked us if we'd take her on. We brought Snoopy here, and she's now known as our most antisocial female. She won't go in and swim with the others. She waits till everyone else pulls out in the afternoon. She goes in, does her legs, and jumps back out again. You can just see Dan doing some training with Fatima over there, just building her up to that training. Tapping the target stick on the side, asking her to come over and tuck her nose to it. He'll then blast the whistle to let her know he's happy with what she's done, and then give her a fish as a reward. And this is how we train with our seals. Repeat the instruction, feed as a reward. Repeat the instruction, feed as a reward. What Dan's asking you to do is climb onto the wooden pallet. We ask our seals to climb on and hold position, and then if we ever need to weigh our seals, we can put the weigh bars in, put the wooden pallet on top, after we do it, and then it's not and weigh our residents. Many different reasons. If they're a white coat, they've either been abandoned by a first-time mum, separated from their mum in a storm, or attacked by an adult male, because the pupping season is immediately followed by the breeding season. Once they're out swimming and fishing for themselves, they can get caught up in storms and get smashed into rocks and come in with broken bones and flippers. They can get respiratory tract infections, pneumonia. They can come in exhausted, dehydrated and malnourished. They can get fishing net injuries, all different reasons that we rescue pups. We get phone calls from members of the public, and there are 4 stages to our rehab. When a pup first comes in, they go into our isolation units out the back of the hospital. When they're doing a bit better, they come into the front pens, and it's in the front pens where we can see them, but the windows are all one-way glass, so we can see them, you can see there today, but he also inhaled the chemical. The result is that he damaged his lungs, and he can't hold his breath for long enough to catch his own fish in the wild. An average dive for an Atlantic grey is 20 to 30 minutes with an average depth of about 70 metres. Flipper can't hold his breath for more than 5 to 10, and that's why he sneaks over by the steps, where he can balance his rear flippers on the steps, which keeps his body on the surface. He snoozes there, and when he needs to, he just lifts his nose up and out the water. Now working with Jenny, just in front of us, is our big dominant male. And his story is a little bit different, because Yule Logs, or Logsy, is the only one in this enclosure that wasn't originally rescued by our team. Logs was originally rescued by a team in the northeast of England. He was rescued as a young pup, put through a rehab programme like we do with our grey seal pups, but at the last minute, instead of releasing him into the wild, they decided to keep him as a permanent resident. Now that was fine until he got to about 5 years of age, when as a fully intact male, he started becoming quite aggressive and dominant with the other seals and the keepers. The team looking after him at the time decided that this aggressive dominant behaviour would enable Logs to compete with other seals in the wild. Unfortunately, 5 years in captivity meant he'd lost all instincts on how to hunt. It was only 2 months after he was released that the RSPCA got a phone call when a gentleman phoned up to say there was a rather large adult male grey seal chasing his children up and down a beach. Logsy wasn't interested in the kids whatsoever. He was fixated on the buckets and spades they were carrying because he was convinced the buckets had fish inside. Unfortunately, not only did the buckets not have any fish in them, but in that 2-month period he'd lost over 2/3 of his body weight. He was absolutely ravenous and in a complete state. So the team agreed the best thing to do would be to take logs on. They brought him here, fattened him up, and as you can see, he now lives quite happy in the knowledge that his fish does come from a plastic bucket and he will be fed by a member of our team. So what these guys are doing today is target training, and this is their husbandry and veterinary training that we do every day. We lift the target stick, asking the seal to touch its nose to it. We can check underneath their throat and neck. We can flick near their eyes, pretending to administer eye drops, or actually give eye drops, as Jenny did for Logsy today. She can ask him to hold a position so she can check his side and rear flippers, and that pressure work along the spine is because bloods are taken from a grey seal along the spinal column. So by doing that pressure work each and every day, if the vets ever need to come and take bloods or anything, they don't find it stressful because they're used to being poked and prodded every single day. Yeah, I did have one visitor ask me if it was a daily massage we gave them. It's like, no, we're good, but we're not that good. Oh, lovely.